So the way to make your pipeline a living, breathing referral system is step one is at the full pre-approval. So you have a client, you've done their application, you've got all their documents, reviewed guidelines, you had a great strategy session, they're on board, they want to buy a house, they just haven't found it yet. So I look at that and say, well, what can I do to ensure when they do find that house, whether it's a month from now, 6 months from now, that they're actually going to close and work with us? And the first thing I look at is family. Why are they buying this house, right? Maybe it's somebody with kids. I always kind of use around 7 years or younger, right? If they've got a family or they got an expecting family, I always look at it and say, what if I give something a little token of my appreciation for them doing a pre-approval with me? I know it's weird because a lot of people don't do it, but what if I did that? Would that help strengthen our bond as we go through this process? So I like to look at it and say, what if I buy a children's book on moving? And I buy that, I send it out to them, say, thank you for the time. We really appreciated the strategy session. I had a great conversation. I look forward to helping you in this next step of your guys' journey. And take this as a token of my appreciation. I hope your children like it because I know this is a big step for them, not just for you. And in turn, you'd be surprised the response I get. I send that out all the time, and I would say 90% of people email, call, text, and say, thank you so much. My kids are going to love it, right? The other option is, what if you have somebody that is not somebody who has a family? They're not buying this to move up for a family or schools or things like that, and they're just a single person. They want to buy their first house. They're a couple just starting out. And I look at it and say, what can I do for them, right? How can I help become their guide or be even a bigger advisor to them? So I went out and I talked to a couple moving companies locally, and I said, listen, I've got all these clients that we close every year, and I'd be really interested to partner with you and give a discount to any client that I refer over for their move, right? Because everybody's going to have to move. It's just the name of the game, right? And so if you're in a position where you walk up to a moving company and you talk to the owner or the manager and you say, would you give a 15% discount to your services for my client? And I'm going to refer you 5, 10, 15, 100 a year. No moving company is going to say no. They'd be crazy. And all of a sudden you create these little vouchers that look good. And every time you have a client that's in that situation that doesn't have kids, right, you gave them a free moving voucher. And you said, listen, when that time comes and you're going to move, obviously you might need some help. Here's a voucher and I'd like to give you this as a token of appreciation. You'd be surprised at that response as well. See, because we spend all this time getting people in the door and trying to get more and more applications, we forget about the great deals and the great clients that we've already had. Because in markets like this, you don't immediately want to buy a house and then find a house and then buy a house. There's some waiting in between there. And so these are things that you can do to strengthen the bond. And I think that is the very first step in creating a pipeline that not just closes more often and more frequently, but it's something that will continue to go because no other lenders do these things. And so as soon as you start differentiating yourself is the same time you start using your pipeline to double your business.